Hello again, this is Menenberg talking to you about analysis and reasoning point number 1 on the DBQ rubric. Now, if you watched the previous videos, I've gone into depth on context, audience, and point of view. In this video, I'm going to explore a little bit more in depth how to get the point for purpose. Now, the reason this video is last is because, frankly, purpose is one of the more difficult letters to get, and I have very, very rarely seen students do this well. That being said, I'm going to explain to you potential ways you can get this point. So if you'll follow along, you want to grab the DBQ rubric and perhaps the Unit 6 DBQ that you just got your grade for, which is this imperialism DBQ. I'm just going to read the scoring notes one more time so you have that in your brain and understanding how you can get this point using purpose. First, coffee. By the way, send me a message if you understand the reference on my mug. It's quality. Okay, the rubric, in this rubric, it doesn't matter if it's the current rubric or the rubric that is typically used for the DBQ. It says this: to earn this point, analysis and reasoning point 1, the response must explain how or why, in this case, the purpose of the document is relevant to an argument about the prompt for each document sourced. Remember, for the new DBQ rubric, you can do purpose 2 times. 2 different docs, get 2 points. Good job. So most students, when they try this, end up doing basically what they did for evidence point number 1, and that is simply using the content or summary of the document in your essay. That's not enough. We already know that you know what the document is saying, or hopefully you know what it's saying, but the purpose of the document is not to say what the document says. That is not the purpose. That is a very simplistic view of what the goal of the author or the intent of the author actually was when they put pen to paper or typed up whatever their thing was or gave that speech. They had a goal in mind. Okay, so let's use the example of this video. What is this author's goal or purpose in putting this video out? My purpose is to help you understand how to do purpose on the DBQ, right? My goal is to equip you with tools and resources and study, tools to kind of prepare and practice and all that stuff. And that is my goal. This video is designed to help you prepare, right? That's the purpose. The purpose is not to, the summary of this video would be, here's, the DBQ rubric, here's the DBQ example. That is not my purpose. My purpose is to help you prepare, okay? It's to help you prepare. It's to support you as students. That is the goal, okay? Now let's take an actual DBQ example. You did the Unit 6 DBQ on imperialism. Let's look at document 3. So if you have that out, it's on PSL. If you don't, grab it. This document, the source is Joseph Chamberlain, British industrialist, politician, and reformer, speech from 1888. He says this: we have suffered much in this country from depression of trade. We know how many of our fellow subjects are at this moment unemployed. Is there any man in his senses who believes that this crowded population of these islands, the British Isles, could exist for a single day if we were to cut adrift from the great dependencies which now look to us for protection? That means the imperial holdings, the places in Africa and everywhere else, which are the natural markets for our trade. That means our products, our industrial manufacturers. If tomorrow if it were possible, as some apparently a desire, to reduce by a stroke of the pen the British Empire to the dimensions of the United Kingdom, half at least of our population would be starved. Okay, so summary of this document: he's saying that the British need their colonies because the colonies provide markets to trade their items. Okay, their industrial products, that is. And so if we lose the colonies, then the people of England in the British Isles, the white folks, would starve. Okay, the purpose is not to say that. Okay, the purpose is to use, this is your English side, your pathos, right? Appeal to emotion, fear of the British people, right? Because he's giving a speech. He's a reformer, but he is giving a speech. He's a politician, so he's giving it probably to people in public who would be interested in voting for him, perhaps. And he is saying this because he wants them to fear the loss of these colonies, to fear the shrinking of the British Empire. You can probably deduce that at this time that there are efforts to kind of give those colonies freedom, perhaps like India, for example, and other places where the British have imperial rule. And so he is kind of pushing back against that mentality that, hey, we should free these people, we should give them independence, whatever. Instead, he is saying, look, that's all well and good. We can't really do that, but if we could, let's just be real about what's going to happen. We're going to starve. Half the population, half the white folks are going to starve. We can't have that. So his purpose, in that sense, is to put fear into the hearts of the public in England so that they will not vote for other people who are in favor of freeing those imperialized groups. That's pretty much it. This is significant, right? Here we got to tie it back to our argument. This is significant because, and this is maybe where you talk about your political motivations being a major factor in European powers imperializing Africa, okay? So then you would say something like, the significance of this is because they garnered or gained public support for imperialism. These politicians were able to exercise their goals and use political motivations to control for long periods of time, we're talking 100 plus years, these imperial peoples and lands. That's more or less it. Again, you have to look underneath what is being said and answer the question of why are they saying it? What is at stake for this author, for this country at this time, that type of thing. What is the purpose? What is the goal? It is not going to be spelled out for you, and that is why I strongly discourage you from attempting this particular letter. It's not going to hurt you to try because you have 5 different docs to take a whack at it, but I still don't think it's the best choice for you in terms of the time that you have. Instead, my recommendation would be to focus on context and perhaps point of view. And like I said, point of view and audience kind of go hand in hand, so you might take a whack at both of those. But context is your content knowledge demonstrated. That would be my recommendation. Again, if you have questions or need anything else from me, shoot me an email. Happy to help.